George Villiers, Duke of Buckingham. This portrait and picture is so familiar to people that know the museum and Leicestershire. What they may not know, though, is the secrets behind it and a story of passion, power, politics, danger and love. Revealing Villiers is massively significant for Leicestershire museums. In exploring queer possibility, the excitement and the thrill of meeting and seeing that face on the walls and knowing this is one of the most significant queer histories that we can explore in this country, and it's ready for everyone. George Villiers might be one of the most famous figures from the 17th century that you didn't know that you knew. He's in so many different forms, in books, in movies, in TV shows. For example, the new Sky drama Mary and George. He's also one of the main characters in The Three Musketeers. Why are we having this exhibition here, and what is the connection to Leicestershire? To tell the story of George Villiers is to tell the story of this county. George Villiers was from here. He acquired a number of wealth and status as a result of his relationship with the king. His presence, not only in this county but also nationally, changed the course of history. Being rooted, though, in this place gives us a chance to pull together the incredible, rich diversity that is held within this county that's able to tell the story of his life. Why do we use the word favourite when we're describing George Villiers, Duke of Buckingham? Favourite is a historical term that has been used by a number of historians, both past and present, to describe the nature of the relationship between him and King James. Favourite encompasses so many different things. Favourite, though, in terms of queer history and LGBTQ+ history, has often been a way to avoid talking about the explicit. It's often been a way to avoid talking about the intimate, the romantic, the connection between these two men. Favourite becomes a word that's used to describe so many different emotions and so many different forms of a queer relationship. But favourite seems to be the most polite way of saying they were together. Polite way of saying that there was attraction, polite way of avoiding talking about queerness. It's part of the longer history of LGBTQ+ representation in museums, which for a number of years was about misrepresentation. It was about erasure. It was about hiding the joy and the beauty of these relationships, often living in plain sight. How do we find queer possibility within museums? Sometimes it's about evidence, and in the case of George Villiers, incredible levels of scholarship and detail both within his own lifetime and today continue to reflect and speculate on the nature of his relationship with King James. More deeply, though, the experience of finding queerness within museums is often intangible and based on a feeling. Consider, for example, that some queer histories are before it was legal to be so in this country and partial decriminalisation in 1967. The absence of evidence sometimes is evidence because these are often hidden histories or obscured histories. Searching for them isn't just about detail, isn't just about finding the explicit, it's about finding the feeling, an association, a recognition of what queerness can be. Why does queer history matter in museums? Because people matter. Because LGBTQ+ history has often been hidden, erased, misrepresented, or not recognised as being of value within these spaces. People bringing not only their lived experience, but their loves, their desire, and their passion for these collections to tell the stories, not just about the potential of our sitters, but also about themselves, is the essence of why we're having these conversations. Why do we use the word queer? And should we use the word queer when we're talking about George Villiers? Would it be a word that he would agree with? Would it be a word that he would be comfortable with? Do we have the right to out people from the past? The intention, I would suggest, in queering and discovering queer possibility in museum collections isn't just to out people from the past. Sometimes it's to recognise something that's in front of people, a truth, a recognition, a feeling that has been obvious to so many people for so long. More fundamentally, the reason why I would suggest we queer these figures is to consider ourselves. We use them as a reflection of our lives, loves and identities. We look at them as ways of telling stories about ourselves and connecting with people that may not be connected to us, may not have the same lived experience. This exhibition isn't just for queer people. It's rooted in LGBTQ plus exploration and history, finding and holding ourselves within these spaces, taking up vital space in terms of who we are and sharing that with people that may not have that lived experience. But this exhibition is for everybody. These are human stories of love, connection, desire, passion, politics, grand sweeping histories, but also personal histories, and the fundamental power that we have to take up and hold space within our museums.